Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. Smiling, happiness, 3 points. We are jolly. Yes, we are. I'm Gerry, Max, Terry are here, and we're gonna talk about lots of stuff. But first, I have to address. If you're watching this, you'll notice maybe something weird about my face, weirder than usual. Swelling in my eyes. Had a crazy bad reaction after a run yesterday. Had to go to the doctor. My eyes were swollen shut. I'll probably send an image of this to the editor so he can cut this in to show you how ridiculous. But that's my explanation for I would not get in a fight. I haven't been in a fight in weeks. It's no, never. Never been in a fight. Come on. So anyway, yeah, that's the explanation for me looking even more tiny-eyed than usual. So yeah, apologies for my elephant man syndrome I've got going on here. So let's begin, and let's chit-chat about Cardiff. Initial thoughts. Terry, how do you feel that one went down this weekend?
Hard end. You had to really dig the results out. I mean, I don't know what else you could really expect for Cardiff coming to Goodison. I mean, a lot of people, myself included, were expecting like a big victory, but that wasn't because we expected an open game per se. I think it was just people thought the goal was going to come a little bit earlier than it did, and if it had done, maybe when Cardiff had to come out, and we would have had a little bit more time maybe to press to get more, build up a bigger advantage. But yeah, it was encouraging in a way, because we've seen the players and the team put some victories on the board in the last month or so with proper really nice football. They've really entertained. They've really added some of the goals against Brighton spring to mind, like the flow and counter attacks and so on. But this one showed a little bit more grit, a little bit more steel, where you're going to have to play against a team who don't want to play you. They're not going to give you a proper game. They're just going to try and spoil things. They're going to try and kick sand in your eyes. They're going to try and rough you up. And we matched up to it. So I was really encouraged, because it shows that we can win ugly as well as win nice. Stats were pretty telling about how the game went. I think it was 72% possession we had. Cardiff only had the one shot on goal, on target rather. And yeah, ugly game, an ugly win, but they all count. Mm-hmm. It keeps the run going. We've got 4 home wins in a row now, and we're taking 2 clean sheets and 2 wins into the Merseyside derby next weekend, so you can't sniff at that.
With you on all that. Maxwell, what you got?
I'm absolutely delighted, to be honest. I knew it'd be tough, because obviously, if you think about it, before that international break, Cardiff are probably coming into that game in half decent form. Obviously, they got that win against Brighton, and make them come to Goodison puffing the chests out a little bit. But we didn't really give them much, did we? As Terry said, 72% possession. They were really physical. They had to try and kick shit out of us, basically. Going forward, it was a weird one, because we weren't clinical. That was one criticism I'd have, particularly of the 2 wide players, Bernard and Walcott. That you think about when, I know I'm sure we'll get onto him, but Andre Gomes put in an absolute masterclass performance in that midfield. You think about when he, on a few occasions he made players look silly, but when he fired that ball across the box at Theo Walcott, and you're just thinking, tap that home, and it kind of balloons off him. Chances like that where you're thinking, come on, you should be putting those to bed. However, that's a big win with the Merseyside derby coming up this weekend. I mean, by however many, you'd take that all day long, and I'm sure the lads will be full of confidence now.
I got really annoyed watching the NBC Sports feed. Whoever the color commentator was, Cardiff were pushing a little bit at the end, on a corner, trying to get a goal, and he said, if Cardiff scored here, I think they will have earned it. I don't really feel like Everton has done much to win this. And he was referring to the fact that he thought that their keeper hadn't had a lot to do. I think that's stupid. I genuinely think that he wasn't actually watching the game. I'm trying to figure out. He just said all these little nitpicky things about Everton the entire time, talking shit about Richarlison for falling down when somebody comes through his back, which happened repeatedly. That's a thing now. Okay, people come through Richarlison's back because he doesn't quite have the strength that Cenk Tosun does. So when people go through his back, he falls down, and it's not getting called often now. But just a lot of nitpicky things that annoyed me, and I feel like this is indicative of the way some people saw that game, where I think they weren't really thinking, okay, well, Everton played a strong game. Our dominance on the ball was evident, okay? We had just a ridiculous amount of possession because the other team wasn't pressing. They didn't want it. They didn't want the ball, They were playing for a draw. And as evidenced by their keeper getting yellow carded, getting cautioned in the first half for time wasting.
That was incredible.
Are you kidding me? So that is a squad that did not come in. And then you see Warnock getting annoyed that Sigurdsson's walking off the field at the end. I'm like, your keeper got carded for time wasting in the first half, man. I realize, you're Tony Soprano's mom, but it doesn't always go your way. All right? It was, I don't know. I think one of the things that I have had trouble with is judging performances against overly defensive, overly physical, unskilled teams that just want to steal a point. And Terry, you brought it up, getting an early goal. Getting a goal earlier so you can stretch them out. Make them have to go and try to. Once you get that goal, all bets are off. They don't stack the middle as much, and it's just a whole different game then. I was fine. I thought our performance was strong. We still look a little sloppy in terms of making sure that our passes oftentimes are just like a few feet off. I saw a lot of that in the game, especially around the box. But I think a big part of that is they were stacking it. They had more feet getting in the passing lanes. That's going to happen, I don't know. I was actually fine with the match. I didn't think we played poorly. I didn't. So,
no.
Plus 3 points. Hey, top 6. Hey,
Exactly. That's huge. Yeah. That was huge. That's worth talking about now, I mean, I can't see it lasting for much longer, but let's see if Sky Sports credit us as being one of the big 6 now we're in there.
Oh, no, it's top 5 for them now. Didn't you see?
No, I seen a tweet the other day. It's top 4 again. Back to 92, the early days of the Premier League, in it now. But obviously Manchester United dropping points. That was a huge bonus for us.
Nice.
I was half paying attention to the Arsenal Bournemouth game, and I probably would have much preferred that to be a draw.
Me too.
But gives a bit of daylight between us and Bournemouth now as it is. But yeah, hopefully that carries on. Particularly, I just want to highlight the midfield performance. Andre Gomes, Idrissa Gueye, Gylfi Sigurdsson. They were the best 3 players on the pitch for me. Absolutely dominant, and they made Cardiff players look quite silly at times, which it was very amusing. I thought the amount of time we kind of left the man for dead. We're showing a flair and a real confidence in our play now that if you can translate that to Anfield, take away the nerves and the kind of inferiority complex that we seem to have there, I think we can give them a really good game, because although they won 3-0 at Watford, they're not playing this ebb and flow and attacking football like they were last season.
Who was your man of the match, Max? And then we move to Terry.
Gomez. It's the Andre Gomes show for me.
Gomes. It's got to be.
I literally wrote Gomes for me. Yeah, yeah. Terry, why? Why Gomes? What particularly stood out for you for him?
Oh, he was just mercurial. He was just everywhere. He ran the whole game. And obviously, because of the way they were set up, he found himself with loads of time and space to do his stuff. And I mean, just watch the highlights. Some of the things, even the stuff that doesn't make the highlights, like when he goes past players into the box and whips the ball across as as Max said, there's just some of the switching of the play he does and everything. He's a really really good deep lying playmaker, and honestly, I think the first thing on the agenda for the second the transfer window opens is go and call Barcelona and just say, "What about Andre Gomes?" and see where we end up, because him and Idrissa Gueye and Gylfi Sigurdsson look like a really strong, diverse trio who we can potentially look to build around. And to be honest, I think a big part of December is going to be crucial, because we're not going to be able to play all three of them in every single game. So that will really tell us what we can achieve this season, when see how we get on when we haven't got all three. Because with all three, especially with Gomes playing the way he is, I think we can give anyone a game, and hopefully we do on Saturday.
For, the thing about Gomes that never makes highlights, he really does a good job of covering in the back as well. When you see the opposition get a little break and you see him he doesn't come in with crunching tackles. That's not his game. He just kind of shepherds them to the side, and just gradually eases them off the ball, muscles them off just with, it's that grace. He's just a graceful player. We said it before, he glides around the pitch, even on defense.
That's one of the things that surprised me the most that I've seen from him, was when you get flair players and creative players from the leagues like La Liga. Sometimes it's a bit hit or miss. Where what are they like physically? We saw from Holland, Davy Klaassen really struggled in that position with the physicality. His footballing ability didn't even come into it because he couldn't cope physically. Whereas when Gomes started playing, and people couldn't knock him off the ball, and he retained the ball really well, and he shields it, and he assists with the sort of battling aspect. I was really surprised by that, because I knew we'd get a good technical player, but you just always wonder which way it's going to go with the physical side of it, because some players just don't take the Premier League, but he doesn't look like he's ever played anywhere else.
It's almost as if he's got this bird's eye view when he gets when he receives the ball to feet. It's like he's got a 360-degree kind of perception of what's around him. Like Terry said, his ability to that close control, and the ability to shield and hold the ball up, know when to knock it on and move forward. It's absolutely fantastic. And if you look at what Dortmund have done with Paco Alcacer, you've got him on loan, and already they've made it a permanent deal. I think we should definitely be looking to do that now, and I think it gives the lads in the dressing room a real boost of confidence and a statement of intent of what we want to achieve.
Yeah, I'll be curious if we may try to make that move in January, or if we're going to wait till the end of the year.
I can't see it happening in January, because I think Barcelona are going to have a real stubborn stance on this one.
Agreed.
But the more he turns in performances like that, the more, without a doubt, he's going to be making his way up the list of priorities in terms of who we're going to bring in.
Terry brought up a really good point, which is December. I think it was Terry. It was you, Terry, right? You were saying how we're not going to be able to start all these players, which is one of the reasons why you're starting to see us make moves for players where we already, positions where we already have good players. We're actually trying to start building a squad. Linked with Ndombele, we've got players to play those positions. But a good player like that, there's no drop off. You sub out Gomes, you put in Ndombele. That's a hell of that works. Not the same style players, very different, but equally effective. I'm excited about transfer windows, but we're at this moment though, it's just cool to be excited about the next game.
Yeah.
I'm not dreading this weekend. I'm just not. I get you two possibly dreading it because you live where you live. I get it. That's a whole different world you live in, but I'm really excited. I don't know.
My kind of pressing concern is, because as I mentioned before, I wasn't too impressed with the wide players that started. I if it wasn't the derby coming up on the weekend, I would have gone ahead and rolled with the front three that finished the game. And I'm still quite undecided on which selection I'd make, really, with it being the derby, because I don't know. Obviously, the midfield doing as well as it is, you want to push that level of performance going forward, and you want the attacking players to turn in with goals as well. Lookman was absolutely fantastic when he came on. He was, arguably he should have finished that chance that he had, and Tosin seemed, fluid with his hold of play and his interlinking. But I mean, I suppose good selection headaches ahead of that game, and with them having PSG midweek, hopefully it goes our way.
Yeah.
It should.
What do you think, Terry? You feeling okay?
No.
See,
I can't anymore. I just can't do it. Expect the worst, and you might be pleasantly surprised. But they're very good. And you know what? At this point, given that the way the last few years have gone, I will be happy to get back to when we play each other. We just do our stuff and then see what the result is. We've developed this complex over the last couple of years. Even though we've not got a great record long term, but this last 5 or 6 years, we treat it like it's it's this cup final, and we change our formation and our personnel to accommodate, and we end up losing anyway. So I just want to go there. Here's what we're about. Here's what we can do. These are our players. Let's see how they do against your players, and don't treat it like this. Like this enormous game where, oh my God, you're playing the Liverpool. We've got a little bit stuck in that mentality. And last season, even though as bad as it was at times, I think we started to see a departure from that. And I think with this massive recycling of players we've been doing, not everyone has got that taint on them yet of this, like, oh, we don't beat Liverpool. Look at our first 11. Only Coleman has really played Liverpool before for Everton or before last season, and Coleman himself has played very little against Liverpool, or just through circumstance over the past 7-8 years. He's always seems to be injured, and or he misses the games through circumstance. So I just want to see, there shouldn't be any fear of Liverpool. We're not going to go down. We're not going to win the league. Just go for it. We've got players like Richarlison. We've got players like Bernard. We've got players like Gomes. These players haven't played against Liverpool for Everton, so they shouldn't go into this game going, oh, this again. The tide's got to turn eventually. We will beat them again at some point, and I just can't get excited until it happens. It needs to happen before I'll begin to believe again. Not before.
Yeah, I take the Chelsea result as very encouraging. That was the most recent game where we played someone that's supposed to be a heavyweight, and we went in there, and despite making some slight alterations with formation and with pressing, we altered that a little bit. I think we can see that kind of thing happening this weekend. We still played our game. We still had chances. I could see a very similar thing happening against Liverpool. I don't think they're going to hack us as much as Chelsea did. I don't think they're going to be as physical. There's going to be an element of physicality because it's a derby, but I don't think it's going to be a systematic plan the way Chelsea's was. That was obvious. So
it could play into our hands because obviously you saw towards the end of the Cardiff game we brought Kurt Zouma on and rolled with the back three. That could come in handy against Liverpool. But if you want to take the man marking approach with their front three, but just to touch on what Terry said earlier, incrementally, particularly from last season, I know we lost that one in the cup, but performances were better. If you look at the one at Goodison, we had a chance right at the end that we should have stuck in and won 1-0, but we didn't. And so, as I was saying, it's incrementally getting better, and if there ever was a time, now is the time. But I say, without a shadow of a doubt, this is their biggest game of the season, and without fail, no matter how much they play it down, they always turn up. they always rise to the occasion and put in a good performance against us. And I'm hoping this season we can take the same approach and not wet the bed, so to speak.
I'm actually getting excited. Sorry, guys. You guys are getting me more psyched with all this.
Don't do it to
I can't
yourself.
help it.
I don't know whether I don't know whether it's excitement or nerves.
I think it's both. I'm good with both.
Definitely nerves. No. Just very quickly on that 3 at the back thing, we can't do that. We will be asking for trouble if we do that, because the way you play 3 at the back is high and wide, and they would love that. I understand the temptation, but I really hope we don't. Even mid-game, I wouldn't want us to do that, because you end up with 5 at the back then against their full-backs as well.
If we've got something to defend, that'd be, I'd say, if we've got something to defend, which is unlikely, we'd be in that position. Say if we've got 20 minutes left and, we're holding on to it.
That's when I could see us possibly doing it. But
yeah,
it's definitely not something you're going to see, from the beginning. I can't see Silva doing that.
No, from the off, I think that'd be suicide. But no, as I say, obviously, it does come into the 5 back then, doesn't it? And with the defensive capabilities of Gomes and of Gerry, fingers crossed that they can put a good shift in. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. It's only Monday.
Gerry Mina header to win the game, and then have them do some of those dance moves.
Oh, don't!
I'll die of happy.
Imagine.
All right. I by the way, I love how this Cardiff reaction has been at least 10 minutes worth of Derby talk. Can't help it though. It's the week. This is the way it works.
The emotional preparation.
Yeah. I feel like that's what people want to hear anyway. So, anyway. Terry, your reactions have been absolutely priceless on this one. So, I can't wait to start actually going into Derby talk later on this week. Yeah. I just want to do screenshots of Terry throughout the whole time. All right, well, I guess that's it for our Cardiff reaction, which was really just Liverpool prep as well. So if you've been digging the videos, please subscribe to us. We're getting really close to 1340. We've had a nice little influx of subs and views, thanks to a number of different factors, but thanks so much for that. If you just got to get more Terry, keep an eye on his Twitter profile. He'll be updating you when he's going to show up on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. Max will also be showing up every once in a while on various podcasts, so keep an eye on his Twitter profile to tell you what's going on with him. He actually should be showing up pretty soon on a Premier League Productions video previewing the Derby. By the way, I may actually start being on some of those in America, which is crazy talk. Yeah.
Cool.
I actually just filmed a little segment for a Bernard interview they did, and I had my son with me, so we'll see if that actually gets on. We'll see. Yeah, we'll have to talk more about it later.
Cool.
But Max also is all over the Toffee Blues website, so keep an eye on his analysis there. Gentlemen, let's move on to talk about our Iceman. Yeah, he's playing well, so we're going to talk about Siggy next. Bye.